Y'all, I think spring has actually shown up here in Western North Carolina, and I spent some time really just hibernating throughout the winter after going through a very, very turbulent season there in the fall. And with this renewal of life literally all around me, I think I'm really finally coming to that place of acknowledging the mess that is my life, but actually seeing how moving forward might actually finally be possible. So I decided to come out here and get some work done because I do most of my work sitting in an office, because with 14 people in my home, tucked away in my office is usually the only place that I can like hide a little bit and get some peace and quiet to get the work done that I need to get done. But I say, you know what, I think I just need to get outside today. The breeze just blew my plant over. You've got to be kidding me. I just picked that up before I started recording and now it's knocked over again. Buddy, I just picked you up. Seriously? Hold, please. I genuinely had just come out here to sit down and do my work like I was telling you. I'm usually in the office and I wanted to try to come out here and sit down and like, okay, trees are in bloom, flowers are popping up everywhere, the sun is shining, the breeze is blowing, let me get some fresh air. I come out here and notice that that plant was knocked down on the ground. I picked it all up, sat down to do this. What, a minute in, the breeze blows again, the plant falls on the ground. Seriously. So anyways, it's just gonna sit on the ground now, upright, but on the ground, and that's where it will be safe. I was trying to think of what video I wanted to make next, because that's what we do, right? We make videos. And while I've been going through a lot of struggles of my own, and even just our family as a whole, I want to say that Hurricane Helene tearing apart our lives is what kicked it off. And I really think it is. But we're still sitting here and I've been trying to figure out, you know, where do we go from here? What do we do? We're dealing with, you know, family things that are going on. I'm dealing stuff with my mom needing more help and care. We're looking at different ways that we're going to have to be going up and caring for her in Tennessee. We're still trying to rebuild our life here in North Carolina. And I think it's interesting because I've got, you know, one kid, my oldest, he, you know, we graduated him a couple years ago after homeschooling. He's been teaching in our online co-op. He's, you know, gotten his driver's license and is pursuing what's next for, you know, his life and what he feels, you know, God is really calling him to, and the struggles he's going through, the things he's facing. And so we're like transitioning into adulthood with him. I've got, you know, my teenage daughter and everything that she's going through and looking at her life. And then my next is getting ready. She's almost a teenager. And then my youngest even, you know, she's 7, but like she's just grown up so much lately. And it's just so weird when we look at life sometimes and it's like everything is moving so quickly that I don't even know how necessarily to keep up with it. Do you ever feel that way? I feel that way a lot here lately, where my kids are really growing up and transitioning into different seasons where my work for them isn't quite as clear cut as it used to be. I've got, you know, my relationship with my husband and things that he's facing and things that we have going on that's like a whole new ball game that we're trying to navigate and work through. There's, you know, my own personal like things that I really feel called to do and to be a part of, and balancing all of this is just so stormy, right? Like it just almost feels so chaotic sometimes of where do we go? What do we do? And so I did what probably any of us do, where I hopped on YouTube and was like, you know, are there other wives and moms like me going through all of this? And then it's funny because I'm going through and I'm looking, and most of these girls, bless their hearts, they're so precious, but they're in their early 20s, right? Like maybe they're hitting 30, and that's great. Like that's about, you know, I was, you know, just turned 30, you know, when I started this channel, and it's just so funny what, you know, nearly a decade later kind of does for you. Because I look at some of these and I'm like, oh, that's great, you know, that's wonderful. Yes, like, and I'm sure that's very helpful for many other people, but oh man, we're so far past that point here in the season of life that it's hard to find that connection. It's hard to find that place. And not that we can't find connection or encouragement with people in different seasons of life, because I think we absolutely can. And I think it's really important that we have other people in other seasons of life kind of in our circle of connection so that we can learn from them and grow from them. But I don't know. I think it's just so interesting to be in this space of so much is changing in my life. And I was talking with my son about it this morning because I told my son I've really been at a loss for what to do on YouTube. YouTube is our family's main source of income. It is our main line of ministry of the work that we do. And we've really been evaluating that because we do feel such a calling. I enjoy this personally so much. I love being able to share. I love being able to connect. Our whole family does. I mean, there's literally the majority of people in my day-to-day life, literally day in and day out, are people that I've met through this channel. And so I do appreciate it so much and enjoy the sharing and the connecting. But it's interesting, I started off, on here because we were sharing about homeschool. Well, I'm still homeschooling every day, but my kids are older. They don't want to be on camera and have, everything, put out there to the great wide world of the internet. We respect that. We understand that. And so we, for years, had been cutting back kind of what we were showing in that right, because that's not where my kids wanted to be, and that's fine. So then I really leaned into a lot that I was just doing around the home. And that was wonderful and that was great. But even now it's kind of interesting because as all of our kids have gotten so much older, it really is a family-wide thing that's done. There's 14 of us here, and all of the kids, they all have their pieces and things that they do. Part of my job is to equip them that when they go out into the world, they can take care of the things they need to. And most of our kids now are really close in age to that, needing to go out and be able to take care of things for themselves. And again, we respect, they don't really want to have all of that recorded and put out to the internet. And so we respect that. And those aren't the things that, I film or focus on. But then it's interesting because it leaves me in this weird spot where I'm like, well, then what am I going to film and focus on? My husband's just over 40. I'm getting ready to turn 40 here soon. We've got this shift in our life and these changes of what's going on. I've got aging parents to take care of. I've got older kids, young adult kids and teens, and, kind of bringing my kiddos up through that area. And life has just changed so much. So where do we go forward from here? What do we do next? And the more and more that I've thought about this, and for those of you who've been watching other videos, you've kind of seen me floundering around with this, trying to balance, this duty I really felt of talking about what was actually going on here to, those of us in Western North Carolina and even Eastern Tennessee with everything that happened with Hurricane Helene. It was being so ill reported on the news that I felt such a duty to speak up and to say hey, this is what's going on. And for those of you who are here, facing this, or, anyone who could face this one day, these are really important things to talk about. But then it was almost like you then attract an audience who just wants to hear about prepping and disasters and conspiracy. And while I love a good dose of all of that, it really wasn't, what I talk about and focus on all the time. It's great for ratings, so I guess maybe I should, but it wasn't, it didn't feel right. And so then I wanted to try to transition back to my normal things, talking about the normal things of just home and, trying to grow in my faith and live that out practically each and every day. And it's just been interesting to watch the shift of even, most of you who are subscribed to our channel, you don't even see these videos, or you see them and they're not getting clicked on or whatever it might be. But it's hard when you're pouring your heart out and you're wanting to help, and it's not getting to the people you're trying to get it to. And there's many different reasons for that, and it is what it is. That's fine. But it really was one of those things where I was like, man, what am I doing? Because you're right, I am in this different stage of life where I'm not doing things right now in this season like I was even a couple seasons ago. My kiddos are older. They are wanting to be, they're wanting to take over different tasks and roles and things that, they're enjoying, learning how to do different things and being more, independent and doing more things for themselves, which is great. It's fantastic as a parent. That's our goal, to get them to that point. But then it's like, well, then what do I do? If I'm not doing all of those things, what do I do? And trying to find that balance has really just been something that I've struggled with. And I think a lot of it comes back to the point that I love connecting, but I've always struggled to connect with other women, especially because I just like being really open and upfront, I guess. The kind of like niceties and surface level, putting on an image, like it's not me. I don't know how to do it. I'm really, really, really bad at that. I'm the person who is like, I will tell you anything. Like I think that we can learn from one another. And when we show up in humility in the areas where we're struggling or we don't know, that's great. And when we show up to be encouraging and have the knowledge or the background to equip someone else, like, let me just share all my, everything with you, because praise God, like if I can learn from that lesson and it can go and be a blessing to you, then like, absolutely, that's what I want to do. And so usually I'm kind of like that weirdo that's way too much for everyone else. And they're like, whoa, I was just talking about like, how's the weather and like general niceties and, the little frilly pieces. And I'm over here like trying to dig into everything. And people, are usually like, how about you back that up 10 notches? It's kind of one of those things where I was like, when I look at this next season of where we're going from here, because I feel confused. I feel lost. I feel like I don't know what my purpose is. My kids need me, yes, but they need me in a very different way, in a way that is a lot of, encouragement and doing things alongside of them, but not so much doing all the things for them. My family needs me in certain ways, but our family has also now grown. We have 14 people here in a family compound, which is fantastic and amazing. Many hands make light work, which is great, but now the work is so light in certain ways that I'm like, well, then what do I focus on? What work now becomes my priority work? I don't know. I haven't been in this situation before. And when I look at these different things and I go, man, Lord, I know that you have a purpose and a calling for every single one of us. We all have gifts to use to serve the Lord and serve him wisely. What is mine? Because I feel like it's transitioned. I feel like it has changed a little bit. And when I look at that now and go, what is it that I do here? I've been here for over 7 years now, talking about kind of the same things, but is that where I need to be? And I was thinking about it and I was like, I wish so desperately, so often, to have that friend that I can go to and just have a real conversation with, right? And I'm so thankful for those that I have in my life that I can do that with, right? My husband and I have great conversations. I have Sabrina here and it's so wonderful having her here. There's things, conversations I have with my kids, conversations I have with many of you, that we chat in the comments, or those of you who will send me an email or will be messaging on something. But I was looking at all of this and I was like, at the base of it all, being able to be intentional with my days. And if you guys haven't gotten it already, I have it because I sat down here. I have my little intentional living. I don't know how well you guys can see it on here. I have my intentional living prayer challenge that I made. You can get it. It's free. I'll link it down below. I didn't print mine out. I put it on my phone. So that way I can just sit here and go through it. And that's part of my coming out here and doing that, praying, going over the scripture, looking at how I can put this into practice in my day. Because these are the types of things that matter. I want to be intentional with my days. I want to be intentional with my time. I want to make the most out of each and every day. I'm not promised tomorrow. I've got a bunch of stuff going on. I don't know what the future, holds for me, But I want to see the lovely. I want to make the most of it. I want to sit out and soak up the sunshine. I want to have conversations that matter. I want to help people and serve where I can help and serve, right? Like, that's such an important thing to do. And so it was kind of where I was looking at this, and I was like, my son, he was so sweet. And he said, Mom, sometimes it's not that you have to follow the light. It's that you have to be the light. And there might not already be somebody out there doing this or something, whatever, but like, you can go do that if that's where you feel you need to be. And the more I've been really pondering his words, the more I'm like, you're right. Like, I want to have friends that I can connect with about the real things, about even the simple things that it's like, can you just be upfront with me? Like, I don't want pretty, perfect, like staged. I want like real, actual, this is what's going on. How you dealing with it? You know, how you getting through with it? You know, like what's working, what's not working? Where are you struggling and how are you overcoming that? How is the Lord equipping you through this season? And maybe that's not like an easily found like niche out there that like, oh, do this and you know, this will all work out. But maybe it's time to lead that charge. I'm not a young mom with super young kiddos in the midst of it all. I'm closer to grandkids than, you know, newborns myself. I'm not there yet, and there's still plenty to give and plenty to do. But how do I transition into this new season and this new area of life, picking up the pieces, coming back from really difficult things, having big things we still need to face, giving God the glory and honor for all of it, and encouraging and equipping others along the way. And so I know this is just a long rambly video, and hopefully you made it here, and thank you for being here, because I think these are the things that are important. I want to share. I want to talk, not because I have it all together or I know it all, far from it, but because I think being real and open in a world, especially online, that is anything but that, right? Like, I want to share the real. I want to share the honest, like the dog's all over here wrestling next to me. I want to do that, and I want to do it because I think it matters, and I wish I had more of that. I don't want to look at another home that looks like a movie set. There's nothing wrong with taking good care of your home and making your home lovely. Absolutely not. We should all be finding the beauty in every single day, because that's where, you know, we see the Lord's blessing and work. But that doesn't have to come from a newly redone kitchen. That doesn't have to come because you got your dream home. Will you guys calm down? It comes from within. It comes from somewhere deeper. I'm never going to have, you know, that perfection. But I am really thankful for this old ugly rental house that I've been in for longer than anywhere else in my entire life, and that my walls literally hold all the beauty and blessing and laughter of my family. So where's more of that? Where can we have more of those discussions? Where can we gather together when I just want to have those friends that I can be so open and raw and transparent and just humble before, and say, hey, I wish we could all live next to each other and we could all just pop by, you know, check in with each other from time to time and be like, hey, how are you dealing with that? How did you do this? How is that? Whatever. We're getting to this, you know, different season of life. Whether you're here with me, you know that it's coming up. Maybe you've already been through this and you can share your wisdom with those of us who are hitting it now. But how can we all connect, and connect in a way that is so much more real than just watching something beautiful, you know, play out as far as a worldly sense? I want to be connected to something beautiful, truly deeply rooted. Does that make sense? Hopefully this makes sense, and I'm not just like totally rambling on and on and on. I don't know. I think there's something more. I think there's something different. I think that many of us are craving a life of purpose, a life of intentionality, a life that isn't just like you're on this like hamster wheel churning out the things, but like you have real connection, real meaning, real purpose in your day. I want that. And I think maybe some of us out there want that too. So if you do, and you're like, yes, please, like this video, let the YouTube powers that be know that there are those of us who want real, that want truthful, that want just that raw, honest, let's make life lovely. Let's live out our passion. Let's be truly fulfilled. Let's pour into relationships. Let's tackle the things that are difficult and maybe aren't that glamorous, but they're real and they're happening. I think we need more of that. So I don't know. I'm really praying over all of this. I just came in here, like I said, I've got all my stuff. I was doing my intentional living prayer challenge, and I was kind of like looking through my booklet at all these different things. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to turn the camera on and chat with y'all, because I'm just going to rock everything to you, because I don't know. Something's not right and I can't figure it out, but I desperately, desperately want to. So I am all ears. Feel free, literally any video you're watching, if you want to just comment along as I'm talking. I love reading y'all's comments and going through them, and just, I think it's so wonderful to have community. I think that's what so many of us are missing. We're missing community. We're missing that place, that gathering of true friendship. And so if this can be that for you, then praise God. I think that's wonderful. So I'm going to get back to my prayer challenge and kind of just looking at some of these things, but I'm looking forward to hear what you guys have to say and what you guys think about all of this. Share this with a friend that could use a place like this too, because I know I need it. And I thank you all for being that here for me. And anything that I can ever do in return, you know it, I am more than happy to do all that I can. If it serves someone else and serves the Lord, absolutely, I'm on it. So that's where I'm at. I don't really know what to do with it. I've got a dash hound that desperately needs to be snuggled. I'm gonna go soak up the sunshine, soak up the spring air, and really just continue to take to prayer. Trying to figure out what on earth my life looks like in this next phase, this next season, because man, life is hard, isn't it? Why doesn't it just come with this clear-cut instruction manual? Crazy. Anyways, friends, I love you all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Check out this video right out here. I think you're going to appreciate that. And don't forget to get my 7-day prayer challenge down below. I will see you all right back here in the next one. Bye, friend.